Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and this evening we warmly welcome the family of Trooper Isaac Sneddon, whose story will be told shortly by Major Mick Gordon from the Australian Army, who is a member of Trooper Sneddon's family. We also warmly welcome representatives from the Australian Department of Defence, the United Kingdom Department of Defence, the United States Department of Defence and their accompanying delegation. We also welcome the delegation representing 1 Recruit Training Unit, Royal Australian Air Force Base, Wagga. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Trooper Isaac Sneddon. Isaac Sneddon was born in 1876 in Tamworth, New South Wales. He was one of 13 children born to James Sneddon, a farmer, and his wife Mary. Isaac received his education at the local Wollomandin Public School and also served in the Civilian Light Horse. Later, he moved to nearby Atunga, where he operated a butchering business. Sneddon enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 30th of October 1914, shortly after the outbreak of war. Though he was almost 40 years old, he recorded his age as 37 on his enlistment papers and was accepted for active service. He was assigned to the 7th Light Horse Regiment with the rank of trooper and began a short period of training in Australia. He embarked less than 2 months later from Sydney aboard the troop ship Ayrshire. Trooper Sneddon disembarked at Egypt on the 1st of February 1915, where he continued training with his unit. As other members of the AIF were sent ashore at Gallipoli, Sneddon's unit remained behind, as the Light Horse was initially considered unsuitable for operations on the peninsula. Owing to the need for more men in the front lines, however, members of the Light Horse were deployed to Gallipoli without their horses, serving as infantrymen. Sneddon arrived on the peninsula in late May, and his unit was assigned as core troops, serving in a defensive capacity to hold portions of the Anzac front line. On the 31st of May, Sneddon was wounded in the chin, leg, and left hand, the result of shrapnel from enemy shell fire. He was evacuated to Malta and then to England for treatment and recovery. His comrade, Trooper Ernest Wise, also from Tamworth, wrote in a letter home, "I suppose you've heard of Isaac Sneddon having his hand smashed up by a lump of shrapnel. They told me he was likely to lose his hand, but I hope that's not true. You would be surprised how lightly we take things here in the trenches, with the bullets chipping in the sandbags at our heads and splashing us with sand and dirt. Big shrapnel and concussion shells lob all about us." By the time Sneddon had recovered from his injuries, the Allies had made the decision to abandon the Gallipoli campaign and return to Egypt. It was there where he rejoined his unit in January 1916 as it became part of the Anzac Mounted Division. Shortly after, in April, Sneddon's unit formed a part of the forces defending the Suez Canal from Turkish troops attacking from across the Sinai Desert. It later fought during the Battle of Romani in August, where Allied units took over 1,000 casualties. After the battle, Sneddon's unit was moved to a position near Hod al-Hisha. There, on the 9th of August, the enemy began heavy shelling of the position. At 11 a.m, the men were ordered to attack, advancing under heavy machine gun fire, rifle and shell fire. They drove the enemy back almost 3 kilometres when reinforcements arrived, forcing Sneddon's unit back to their initial position. Isaac Sneddon was wounded in the arm and was evacuated to the 26th Casualty Clearing Station for treatment. He remained there for 3 days, but his wounds proved too severe. He died on the 12th of August 1916. News of his death reached his family in Australia, who posted a notice to their brother in the local newspaper. He has borne his cross. He has gained his crown. Though he lies in a far-off grave, we think of his life as a duty done, manly, unselfish, and brave. Isaac Sneddon was buried at Kantara War Memorial Cemetery in Egypt beneath the inscription, "Sacred to the memory of a fond brother sadly missed at home." His name is listed on the roll of honour to my right among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Trooper Isaac Sneddon, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember that.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. And we wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.